Hey everyone, it's Casey here, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into a leadership skill that's no longer optional, it's essential. Leading remote and hybrid teams. Whether your team is spread out across cities, countries, or working between home and the office, how you lead them determines how well they stay connected, motivated, and productive. So many leaders tell me they're struggling to keep that team spirit alive when everyone's working from different locations. And that's exactly why we're here. We're going to break down the essential skills you need to thrive as a leader in this new world of work. We'll cover communication, trust building, creating structure, and so much more. If you're ready to build trust, keep people engaged, and get results in a virtual world, stick with me, because I've got some game-changing tips just for you. Let's dive right in. One of the biggest challenges with remote teams is the lack of those casual, everyday interactions you get in an office. You know, those quick chats by the coffee machine or bumping into someone in the hallway. Those little moments build connection and keep everyone in the loop. But when you're leading a remote team, you can't rely on those chance encounters. You have to be much more intentional about your communication. That means being crystal clear about goals, expectations, and sharing updates regularly. Think about it like this. In an office, you might casually mention a deadline to your team member. But in a remote setting, you need to send that deadline in writing. Maybe even follow up to make sure everyone's on the same page. It takes a bit more effort, but it makes all the difference. Remember, clear communication is the foundation of a strong remote team. When everyone knows what's expected and feels informed, they can focus on doing their best work. Now, being intentional with your communication also means using the right tools for the job. And thankfully, we've got a ton of options these days. For important conversations or when you really need to read the room, nothing beats a video call. Video allows you to connect on a more personal level, pick up on those nonverbal cues, and build stronger relationships from afar. But for quick questions, updates, or just to share a funny meme to lighten the mood, instant messaging platforms or emails are your best friends. The key here is to set clear expectations with your team about which channel to use and for what purpose. This minimizes confusion, streamlines communication, and ensures everyone stays in sync. So, take the time to explore different tools and find what works best for your team's communication style and needs. Trust is the bedrock of any successful team. But it's even more critical when you're leading remotely. Because when you're not physically together every day, it's easy for doubts to creep in, for people to feel disconnected, or like they're not a priority. That's why building trust in a remote environment requires you to be more intentional and visible as a leader. And no, I don't mean you need to be online 24/7. It's about showing up consistently, both in your communication and your actions. Schedule regular check-ins with your team members, not just to discuss work, but also to see how they're doing personally. A simple, "How are you feeling this week?" can go a long way in building rapport and showing you care. When you genuinely invest in getting to know your team members as individuals, you create a foundation of trust and respect that transcends physical distance. Another powerful way to build trust is through vulnerability. Now, I know some leaders shy away from vulnerability because they think it makes them seem less authoritative. But let me tell you, vulnerability is a strength, especially in a remote setting. Sharing your own challenges, asking for help when you need it, and admitting when you don't have all the answers makes you relatable and humanizes you as a leader. And when you're open and vulnerable, it creates a safe space for your team members to do the same. It fosters a culture of psychological safety where everyone feels comfortable speaking up, sharing ideas, and taking risks. So embrace vulnerability as a leadership superpower. Be real, be authentic, and watch how it strengthens the bonds of trust within your remote team. Now let's talk about structure. I know, the beauty of remote work is often the flexibility. But hear me out, my friends. Even in the most free-flowing environments, a little structure can be incredibly grounding. Think of it like a jazz improvisation. You need those core chord changes, that rhythmic foundation to really let the magic happen. That's where routines come in. Establish a clear rhythm for your team meetings. Is it a Monday morning kickoff, a Friday afternoon wrap-up? Whatever it is, make it consistent. This helps everyone plan their week and know what to expect. It minimizes those wait. When was that meeting again? Moments that can derail productivity. And don't forget communication channels. Do you prefer project updates in a shared document? Quick questions through instant messaging? By setting clear expectations around how and when to use different tools, you'll minimize miscommunications and keep everyone on the same page. Remember, clarity equals efficiency. Finally, be upfront about response times. In a remote setting, we don't have those immediate in-person cues. Let your team know what a reasonable time frame for a response looks like. Is it within a couple of hours? By the end of the workday? Setting these boundaries helps manage expectations and prevents anyone from feeling like they're left hanging. These structures might seem simple, but trust me, they make a world of difference. When your team feels grounded in clear expectations and routines, it reduces anxiety and frees them up to focus on what matters most, doing their best work. It's about creating a sense of psychological safety, a space where everyone knows the rules of the game. And remember, this isn't about micromanaging. It's about setting the stage for success. You're not dictating every minute of their day. You're simply providing the framework that empowers them to thrive in a remote environment. It's about creating a sense of partnership, where everyone understands their role and how their contributions fit into the bigger picture. Think of it like building a house. You wouldn't start constructing walls without a solid foundation, right? These structures and routines are the foundation upon which your remote team's success is built. They provide the stability and clarity needed for everyone to work together effectively, even from afar. So, embrace the power of predictability. Establish those clear rhythms, communication channels, and response time expectations. You'll be amazed at how much smoother your remote team operations become when everyone is on the same page. Trust me, a little structure goes a long way in building a thriving and productive remote team. Let's talk about a common pitfall in remote leadership: getting caught up in the hours worked mentality. It's easy to fall into the trap of equating face time with productivity, especially when you're not physically seeing your team every day. But remember, friends, we're leading in a new world of work. It's time to shift our focus from hours logged to results achieved. In a remote setting, flexibility is key. Some team members might be most productive early in the morning, while others hit their stride late at night. Trying to force everyone into a rigid 9-to-5 schedule simply doesn't work. Instead of monitoring when people are online, empower them to manage their own time and work when they're most effective. Remember, it's about trust. When you trust your team to get the job done, regardless of when or where they're working, you foster a culture of autonomy and accountability. This shift in mindset can be transformative, both for your team's morale and their overall output. So, how do you move away from the hours worked mentality? It starts with setting clear expectations around deliverables and deadlines. When everyone understands what success looks like and when it's expected, you can empower them to manage their own time and work in a way that maximizes their individual productivity. Now, this doesn't mean you abandon all structure or ignore deadlines. It's about finding a balance between providing guidance and giving your team the freedom to excel on their own terms. Regular check-ins are still crucial, but focus on progress made, challenges faced, and how you can support their success. Think of yourself as a coach, not a timekeeper. You're there to provide guidance, remove roadblocks, and celebrate wins. But ultimately, you're empowering your team to own their work and deliver exceptional results on their own schedule. This approach not only boosts productivity, but also fosters a sense of ownership and accountability within your team. When individuals feel trusted and empowered, they're more likely to go above and beyond. They're not just clocking in and clocking out. They're invested in the success of the project and the team as a whole. So ditch the old school mentality of equating presence with productivity. Embrace the power of outcomes-based leadership. Trust your team, set clear expectations, and watch them thrive in a flexible and empowering work environment. Remember, it's not about the hours worked, it's about the results delivered. One of the biggest challenges of leading remote teams is replicating that sense of camaraderie and connection that naturally develops in a physical office. But don't worry, my friends, it's far from impossible. Building a thriving remote culture requires intentionality and creativity, but the rewards are well worth the effort. Think about the things that bring your team together in person. Those water cooler chats, the shared birthday celebrations, the spontaneous coffee breaks. How can you recreate those moments virtually? It might feel a little different, but the core principle remains the same: fostering connection and celebrating shared experiences. Consider hosting virtual team building events. These can be as simple as a virtual coffee break where everyone shares their favorite morning beverage, or as elaborate as an online escape room challenge. The key is to create opportunities for your team to connect on a personal level, beyond work tasks and deadlines. And don't underestimate the power of small gestures. A quick message to celebrate a teammate's birthday, a virtual round of applause for a job well done, or even just a heartfelt, "How are you doing?" can go a long way in making your team feel seen, appreciated, and connected. Remember, building a strong remote culture isn't about replicating the in-office experience exactly. It's about adapting and finding new ways to foster connection and belonging in a virtual setting. It's about creating a space where everyone feels comfortable bringing their whole selves to work, even from behind a screen. Think outside the box. Maybe you host a virtual talent show where team members can showcase their hidden skills. Or maybe you organize a virtual book club to discuss a shared interest. The possibilities are endless, and the more creative you are, the more memorable and impactful these experiences will be. The key is to make it a regular part of your team's routine. Just like you wouldn't skip team meetings or performance reviews, don't let virtual team building fall by the wayside. Schedule it into your calendars, make it a priority, and watch as your team's bond strengthens, even from afar. Remember, a strong culture is the backbone of any successful team, remote or otherwise. By investing time and effort into creating a virtual environment where your team feels connected, supported, and appreciated, you're setting the stage for a more engaged, productive, and ultimately happier team. So go ahead, get creative, and start building those virtual bridges today. Leading remote teams means accepting that life will happen, sometimes right in the middle of a Zoom call. Barking dogs, doorbell interruptions, you name it, it's all part of the package. Instead of getting frustrated, embrace these moments. They remind us that we're all human, juggling responsibilities and navigating the beautiful chaos of life. Show your team that it's okay, even expected, that these things happen. This approach fosters a culture of understanding and allows your team to be their authentic selves. Remember, a little flexibility goes a long way in building a strong and resilient remote team. When those life happens, moments occur. React with empathy, not annoyance. Imagine the stress of a dropped Wi-Fi connection during an important presentation. Acknowledge the situation with a smile and words of reassurance. A simple, "Don't worry, it happens to the best of us," can instantly put someone at ease. Remember, your team members are likely already feeling flustered. Your patience and understanding can make a world of difference in helping them regain their composure and focus. This empathetic approach builds trust and strengthens relationships, ultimately leading to a more connected and productive remote team. Managing a remote team requires a well-stocked digital toolkit. Think of it like this: you wouldn't show up to build a house without a hammer, right? The right tools streamline communication, enhance collaboration, and keep everyone on the same page. We're talking about platforms like Slack for instant messaging, Zoom for video conferencing, and Trello or Asana for project management. These tools act as your virtual office space, a central hub where your team can connect, share ideas, and work together seamlessly. Investing in the right platforms is an investment in your team's productivity and success. Remember, choosing the right tools is about more than just picking popular names. It's about finding the platforms that best fit your team's specific needs and workflows. Consider factors like team size, communication preferences, and the nature of your projects. Do you need a robust project management tool with detailed task lists, or is a simpler communication platform sufficient? Don't be afraid to experiment and adjust as you go. The key is to find a combination of tools that empower your team to collaborate effectively and stay organized, no matter where they're located. Remember, the right tools can make all the difference in creating a seamless and productive remote work experience. So here's my challenge to you. Look at your team, your systems, your leadership habits. What's one thing you can do this week to make your remote or hybrid team feel more connected, more supported, and more empowered? Maybe it's implementing a new communication tool, scheduling a virtual coffee break, or simply taking a moment to acknowledge someone's hard work. Every step towards building a stronger remote team counts. And hey, if this video gave you a new insight or something to reflect on, do me a favor. Hit that like button, share this video with a fellow leader, and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on more leadership wisdom coming your way. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.